Hi everyone, welcome to FilmDirt. I'm going to talk about Interstellar. I've just seen it very recently and I needed a couple of days with this one just to mull over what I've seen. A lot of Christopher Nolan films seem to be like that. There's a lot to take in and I'm just wondering how deeply should we really be thinking about the story. It is an interesting film and I've heard others speak positively of it, but it hardly seems to be mentioned in any must-see list or top movies of all time lists. Or maybe it is and I've missed it, who knows. So to loosely surmise the story, there seems to be an ecological problem with the earth in general, and there's difficulty growing crops and harvesting food, and there's dust bowls regularly. So that prompts us to look outside the earth for another planet, for roots to inhabit. It's gotten that bad, although it never seems to be that bad of a situation. It's never evident in what we've seen on screen. There's life going on as general, and it just seems to be a spoken problem rather than actually seeing the problem for ourselves. Probably just to help the story, but people seem to be living reasonably well apart from the dust clouds now and then. I wish we got this problem established more. I don't think it's established enough, and I don't mean making another Mad Max type film or anything with a ravaged earth, apocalyptic type environment, but just a bit more evidence of the problem harvesting food, which seems to be, a major enough problem that we can clearly see. So they've asked for an ex-NASA pilot in Matthew McConaughey's character to venture forth on this mission. And his build-up to this mission, very serious mission, is handled and shown on screen much better. There's a weight he's got to carry. He's a family man, so he's got family he's got to think about. And of course, the issue that he may not come back, which is evident in this story going forward, when he later finds out that he was pretty much set up. And that's one of the twists in this film, handled brilliantly by Michael Caine, who's always great. He's getting on in age now, isn't he? And he's starting to take these roles where he's an older retiree, as he is now in real life, we've just heard. So we don't quite go all 2001 with a lot of mumbo jumbo, but there's quite a bit of it here, as there seems to be in many Chris Nolan films. You really need to bring your brain with you when you watch this film. But what's stopping me from really liking this film is some things seem to be unconvincing. Those robots, Tars and Case, they're just not really believable. I don't know if their blocky appearance is supposed to be reminiscent of 2001's Monolith, which was just a nondescript block, wasn't it? Which was quite interesting in that film. But in this, I don't quite understand it. And the rescue on the other planet that they went to, or maybe it was Earth, who knows, that rescue wasn't really portrayed very clearly. And we get that it's a Noah's Ark type mission. We're going to inhabit another planet. Hopefully we can inhabit it. And then what we're going to do, send two of everything to that planet. I think we only loosely answered that question, but for this moment it's just first things first. Let's just see if it's inhabitable. And the fact that it seems to be mostly water shouldn't really stop humanity. We've got enough water on our current planet. And like I just said, I don't think much of this is explained clearly enough. And what I got from this film overall is that it really made sense to me about the halfway point. I kind of got what it was trying to say, which was a message about family and our connection with our families and what's the most important for family to be able to progress forward. And we get those scenes where he seems to be trapped in a halfway point. He's in a different plane, isn't he? And he's overseeing earlier events in his life when he was trying to leave Earth and trying to direct his children from that other plane. And then we get to figure out that he was the original ghost that his child was supposedly experiencing. So we're getting to see this whole subplot in amongst this other thread where each generation is being set up because we're meeting the previous generation that are already there, and we're just taking it in turns to do a little bit at a time. You know, whatever humanity can do, we can eventually set up base on Mars or another planet until technology catches up with us and we're able to do a whole Star Wars and go backwards and forwards as and when we please and set up civilizations somewhere else. So, another nice deep film for us to think about from Chris Nolan. I do get what he's trying to tell here, but the bigger picture for me is that connection to our family and humanity's priorities. I just wish it was all told a little bit more clearly and fluid. It's not one of my favourite films. I'd probably still put 2001 above this as just a bit more of an interesting watch. And also the effects are really good. With the upside down visuals in some parts of the movie, I thought we were watching another one of his films. Inception, wasn't it? But it's a good effect, so I can understand him using that twice. And for this, I'll give it 4 stars. I'm sure there's other subplots in there that I probably missed, but we've come to expect that from Chris Nolan. And maybe when I next revisit it, I'll unpick something else. I'll also add that I did like that they went with the whole avenue of no sound in space. Star Wars never took up that theory, did it? But this film did. It's always difficult seeing space scenes without sound, but if we're going to be factually accurate, this is what we should be expecting. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll be back, of course, to talk about another movie soon. Like and subscribe, of course. All the best, and take care.